Alright, so this is my first time doing this, so I don't necessarily know how it's going to go, but people have requested videos and whatnot, so here I am. I know a lot of people want to see stuff about like fashion or makeup or other kind of vapid-y things, and I don't mind doing those, but I kind of wanted to start it out with something that I actually care about and think is important and interesting. And so I want to talk about how, if you follow me on Snapchat or Instagram or anything, you know that I go out a lot by myself and I have social anxiety, I'm a woman, I have a plethora of other issues, and so I think a lot of people think that this stems from some kind of confidence or like some kind of weird anomaly. And so I just kind of wanted to explain that process so that if other people want to feel less alone and more out there and have more experiences, I suppose, they can try to implement some of these concepts and ideas. So I hit like a really bad low a year ago. I had a really bad breakup. It was a really bad low. And eventually by probably February or March, it got to the point where everything was just fuck it. Like I couldn't find a job. I was having a lot of problems with things and it was just shit. And I was spending a lot of time just reading and writing and just generally being an over emotional crazy person. And so I decided, you know, fuck it, I need to get out the house because which I think this is a common phenomenon for people in my generation at least, is that social media, you're so connected to people, but at the same time you're so alone. And everyone, especially if you have social anxiety, you go out to a place and you're terrified to talk to anyone because you just feel so nervous. Or you go out alone and you feel simultaneously like everyone is watching you and judging you, and also no one's paying any attention to you at all. And so it's very overwhelming. It's a scary thing. And so I decided, you know, I'm going nuts, just sitting in here cabin fever at home, living with my parents. And so I decided, you know, there's a pub about a 30-minute walk from my house. I'm gonna go to the pub. I'm gonna go to the pub, walk to the pub, have some drinks, read and write. Essentially do what I'm doing at home, but do it in a public space. Maybe that would make me feel a little bit less isolated. And so it came from this fuck it mentality. So I started going there and I made, you know, I went and read and wrote. Then I started talking to the bartenders and I started talking to the regulars and people started to know me. And that's the entire thing, is that going to a social place like a pub or a coffee shop, a library, a park, I don't know, anything, whatever is your thing. For me, it's going to the pub. It's such a non-obligatory social space because especially if you come and you bring your own things, maybe you're just drawing, I don't know. There's always the option to talk to people or have people talk to you, but you don't have to. And not only that, if there's a negative experience, you never have to see them again. And once you realize this, it's just like, whew, your mind is blown. And you just fuck it. It's like, whatever, nothing matters. And so like, you see somebody that you think is attractive, just go up and talk to them. And if they turn you down or they're not interested, you never have to see them ever again. It's liberating. It's so liberating when you realize this. And so then I started going to this pub that I'd always wanted to go to because, again, fuck it. So I was like, I'm just gonna go, you know. It's a great cider, by the way. Two Town Cider House, 10.5%. So I decided, you know, I'm gonna go to this pub that I've always wanted to go to. And so I went and I had a pretense. I brought my book and I was there to watch the rugby. So I got there, read for a while, watched the rugby was a bit shit, and I was gonna leave. And then this man came up to me when I was gonna close out and he asked if he could buy me a drink. So I said, sure. And turns out this is the man who owns the pub. Meet him, meet all his friends, tells me the rugby's on later. I ended up staying out till 2 a.m. You have to be a yes person. It's like improv. You just have to go with everything. And I mean, trust your logic and instincts as well. But things will not happen to you if you shut everything down. If you want positive reinforcement for your social interactions, or if you just want something exciting to happen to you, you have to be open to kind of anything. And so now I'm a regular at the bar, and like people know me and they expect me to be there, and when I'm not there, they're like, oh, I haven't seen you in ages and stuff like that. And a lot of reckless things happen to me, but I think a lot of exciting things happen to me, and I feel so much more fulfilled. And I don't think it has anything to do with confidence. I don't think you need necessarily to be confident to have these interactions. Because like, I'm not the most confident. I just, I'm not confident at all in my social skills. I am not confident in my appearance or how I necessarily present myself, my physical form. There's a lot of things I'm not confident about. And I think a lot of people think, oh, well, you're so confident, so blah, blah, blah. No. The thing is, be yourself, be an interesting person. Pretty much everyone's an interesting person somehow. And just fuck it and just do it. People want to connect with one another. It's shocking to think that, but people do, and you just have to go for it, and that's how things happen. And so I guess I kind of just wanted to talk about that because I think it's important, and I think a lot of people don't necessarily know how to break out of that shell, and it seems so scary. And to see somebody doing that, it seems like, oh, you probably don't have these problems, or blah, 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 or well, you're this or you're that. And that's the thing, it's like, I'm not. But once you just step out of that box and do it, it's so freeing. And yeah, no, I just wanted to put that out there into the universe. And I guess if there's other things you want to see or hear me talk about, I know this is such a bogan video. I don't actually have like any fancy recording things, but I figured I'd give it a shot. Let me know.